Hello, guys. Welcome to the first ever episode of the PoE Report, a brand new podcast from myself, Dreamcore, and my co-host, Paustron.
What's up, dude? How's it going? We're
Yeah.
gonna be doing a podcast from here on out where we do sets of four. So always one league before league start, and then three after. Whenever there's something new coming up, we're gonna talk about whatever news there are in the world of PoE 1 and PoE 2. So we're gonna move forward. We're always gonna have relevant guests. So this is gonna be the first one. Gonna be a little bit experimental. Definitely give us feedback down below in the comments and everything. First guest today. We're already gonna start off with a big profile name. The guy that will pop out our podcast cherry, the masturbator himself, the Spark Poison League Start God, the last remaining hardcore trade player, and also one of my favorite build creators, Garafa. What's up, dude? How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks to the intro. I'm not sure I want to be associated only with Poison Spark, though.
Would you say Poison Spark was bait?
I think it was... Okay, so, like, it's pretty good. It's just, you get to Exarch, and then you want to quit the game, basically, because Exarch is probably the worst fight in the game for Spark, and you're going to have to fight him pretty early on for the Voidstone.
I saw Tuat do a run, and he got Exarch to the side, and then he did a little bit of damage, which was pretty impressive.
So. Yeah, you spent like 20 seconds trying to bait him over. He starts casting a bunch of skills, and he just stands there. And then finally, you get him over there, and he just does like the ball phase. So you have to do it again afterwards.
It's rough, man. I wish Spark was still like really, really good, but yeah. Oh boy.
Build skills really well. Honestly, like speaking of Spark, I mean, I see like pretty insane Spark builds probably with the new acceleration belt. That is the first thing that came to mind for me, at least.
True.
All right, so we've got a lot to talk about, loads of topics to cover. We have Path of Exile Mirage coming up. It's a few days away from launch. And let's just get straight into the topics with something that only got revealed just a few days ago. It's the new Scion Ascendancy, the Reliquarian, which has got... It's going to have a bunch of rotating nodes every league, so build crafters rip, I guess. But yeah, I mean, what are your guys' first thoughts on that new Ascendancy?
Garafa?
I think it'll be pretty interesting. I feel like it's gonna be pretty niche. Looking at some of the the nodes, I feel like it's gonna be a little bit more niche than the other Ascendancies. I do like the idea of it being rotating because it's gonna add new ideas every league. I don't know if I would league start this though, because I feel like it's gonna be a bit weak in the campaign because you obviously don't get your first node until like Crow Lab or whatever, and also you don't get any access to bloodlines as Scion, which is a little annoying to me at least.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super true. It's also as a guide rider like on Maxroll or whatever, I'm never gonna make one of those because that's dead every league.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
it takes so much time.
That is very rough, actually. You just make a really cool build, and then it's just dead the next league. I mean, I don't know if all of the nodes are going to rotate, or whether they're going to keep some in and move some out. I mean, we don't know how they're going to do that.
I'm pretty sure they said all.
Are they going to do it manually, or is it going to be like they're going to have a bunch of nodes that they just throw in a random number generator and it just picks a bunch of nodes every league? I don't know.
I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah. I think they said they're gonna add new every time, right? Like every skill's gonna change completely.
Yeah,
I think is what they said.
Completely new ones. The one thing I hate about this Ascendancy is how weak the general point is. Like, there's obviously special ones that are really good. Like the Frenzy Charge one is super interesting. The Life Stacker one is extremely interesting. But like, what was the Life Stacker one again? The Life Stacker was called Burden of Shadows, right?
Yeah.
The Frenzy one, the Terminus Est, really interesting. But overall, you got to think about it this way. You get 5 passive points as your travel points. But you get travel points on normal Ascendancies as well, right? So, boohoo. And then you get 3 Ascendancies instead of 4. And if you look at these power level-wise, they're actually worse on average than a normal Ascendancy. And they have like this weird notion, I think, that being in the middle of the tree is an upside. But the truth is, without being able to path at a different starting location, it's actually almost always a downside, right? So you're losing points. You're losing the points that you're gaining. And, I mean, I guess you can get a good unnatural instinct set up, but that's about it. I don't know. I'm a little bit underwhelmed.
Yeah, the best example of that is, I mean, look at Maw of Conquest, and then compare that to Assassin Shattered Blood. Assassin Shattered Blood is straight up just better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one
There's
thing
like
that
one-to-one.
popped into mind when I
Cocaine.
saw that Ascendancy, I mean, I think Bleed is looking quite nice, especially from a hardcore perspective on that Ascendancy. Like Bleed Bone Shatter or maybe Bleed Slams. You just take Brass Dome and then you get the level 30 Thirst for Blood, which we don't know what it does just yet, but that skill is, I mean, Jack the Axe is a pretty good unique anyway. Like it's an axe that can fulfill most of your end game before you get to like very hard content. And Thirst for Blood is a pretty good skill. It does reserve 10% of your life. We don't know what the level 30 version. I would expect that it's not going to reserve more life. I don't think they do that.
No.
I think it will probably just be. I think it will be like 25% more damage instead of 20, and it might give you a little bit extra regen. But
It has like 400, right? 400.
Yeah,
and
400.
It might go up to like 600.
It's 400
maybe.
per. It's 400 per target that you have bleed, that you've inflicted a bleed on, like close to you. It goes up to, I think it's 5 targets, so it's a lot of regen.
Yeah, actually, I recommend Jack the Axe on my Bleed of History build. It's a really strong unique. The main downside is it's kind of low damage, but obviously Cyan doesn't care about that. Yeah, I agree. I think Bleed will be really strong.
So I was looking at that a little bit. I didn't really do like a full POB of it, but I think it will be pretty easy to get to 90 all elemental resistances with that setup, and you'll be using a 2-handed axe, so you're going to be having pretty good damage too. The last point is a little bit weird on that. I think you'd probably go for the level 30, what's it called? The Tear of Purity one, right? For
Purity?
Yeah, you probably
That's
do that.
really bad, though.
Well, I
feel like it's
think you do that first, and then I think you would spec out of that and go Schizophrenic Dissociation, and like that's how you would switch into late game. You would actually go. You wouldn't even take a point. You would do a Bloodline instead.
Oh,
It'd probably be a pretty good synergy with Jack the X too, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you guys ever used Veroso's Ambition? That unique is actually really strong. It's just kind of annoying to play around.
Yeah,
you have to actually
I haven't used the unique. I know it is pretty strong buff, right? It's 15% more damage and 15% less taken, which is quite good.
It's amazing, and especially for bosses. But
Is it?
Obviously, it's really good.
But how do you use the right monster type at every point?
You have to target the. It's like a skill you use. You like use it. It like snapshots the mob type you clicked on, and then that's the one you'll be strong against.
Oh, so wait. So if you're against a single target, can you like select him, or does it have to be a corpse, or how does it work?
It's not once I used that.
It basically, when you use those boots, it has a modifier on the boots which allows you to see the type of monster on every single monster, even before you get it, right? So it will say like human, and then I think when the corpse is actually on the ground, you can hover the corpse, and the corpse has the thing as well that tells you what type it is. So yeah, you just gain buffs against the one type. It's
I mean,
and then there's also 20% Moose Feed and Chaos Fist too, so it's pretty stacked.
Yeah, once you have the buffs up, like it is actually quite good. It's just having to use that extra skill, right? It's a little bit annoying, and then obviously it's there for the whole zone though. Like it's not a timed buff. Once you've done it in the zone, then you have it for the whole zone, unless you die, of course. But I mean, I play hardcore, so if I'm dead, I'm dead, right?
The most hype one I've seen was the what was it called again? The ring, the Astro Projector is really hype. You open up a ring slot again, and you get 25% increased area of effect instead of 20% less from the ring. And like jewelry is so important in all the endgame builds. And I feel like that was always holding those kind of builds back. And there's also that new mine that Fearless Dumbo is gonna leak start.
The wave of conviction of Trathus.
Of Chartreuse, yeah. That one looks very spicy. So I want to. Yeah, he's definitely going Reliquarian. I'm just assuming. So that's going to be very interesting.
I think he's going Trickster actually. I saw his video and he was talking about how he wants to go Reliquarian, but his idea behind that was that he thought the Grace of the Goddess was going to give extra Fizz as extra elemental, but it didn't. It just gave the Wisps. So I mean, I only saw his comment that he had updated under his YouTube video that said "Rip, no Fizz as extra." On, so I think he might go Trickster, but I guess we'll see what he does. But
what do you guys
it
think
does look really good though.
What do you guys think about Cardigan's authority with that? And use like Shockwave Totem, Wave Conviction. Just have like three different like Nova Totems or something.
I love that item so much, but it's so difficult to use correctly. Maybe in this league though. What about with the extra support gems that you can put on gems, right? Because part of the problem with that item is that we're not playing PoE 2, right? We don't have all of the links to make up for all these gems. So maybe that's going to be something that you can do, but it's so hard to use correctly. I don't,
No, +3 is just not enough. Like, you still have your global maximum, so you're still. I don't think it's good enough. I really don't think it's good enough. It's also just so cancer to play. What are you gonna have like?
Yeah, it's multi.
Yeah. Maybe there's like a build where if you can get 0 additional totems for some reason, and you get +3 and you go from 1 to 4, that's huge. But going from like 3 to 6, doubling your damage, but having to completely reshape your build, I don't think there's ever going to be... Like, there's going to be a Reddit build, but you will never want to play it. That kind of thing.
I mean, the item is +5, right? And I haven't seen anyone make a build around that yet.
Yeah, but it is a weapon, right? So
yeah, that's true. Yeah. And then
Maybe.
One other skill that I thought about for that Ascendancy is Pyroclast Mine. There's a lot of stuff for Pyroclast Mine in that Ascendancy. You get
Victorios.
You get +2 levels, you get +2 projectiles, and you get the Astral Projector. So
I will shout out the Sibyl's Paw, which looks really cool. 20 life gain on spell hit. Like, it's a very... Like, getting a Shaper Ring on a build nowadays, it costs a lot. Yeah. Not running a Helical or something. And then you also get, 120 spell damage? That could actually be a very solid, like, mid-node to get to Astral Projector, for example, or whatever. I guess Astral Projector, if your mind's obviously not, but maybe there's, like, some application there. Maybe Shockwave? I don't know.
Well, it's also, like, you get it really early on, too, right? Like, I mean, Shaper Rings, like, you're already in T16.
Oh, yeah, 20 is crazy, right? 20?
Yeah, it's going to hard carry you.
Oh, that's going to be crazy. True. You can have, like, 2-3k life. Yeah, that's insane, actually.
Yeah, I'm just excited for that Ascendancy to come back every league and like, you go into a reveal and you know that there's going to be new nodes waiting for you. Like, there could be a new build, right, that you just haven't thought of, and suddenly it's just there. So I just love the concept of that Ascendancy overall. It rotating each league is great.
I love it as well. Flicker Strike players are going to love it. I guess we're going to see how much it's actually going to get played, and if they're going to up the ante a little bit and make the nodes a little bit stronger maybe for next league. We'll see. What do you guys think about, in general, the end game changes, though? Because we haven't really talked about this big cloud over PoE where there's huge changes coming. No more tier 17s, quote unquote. We're going to have a meta shakeup in terms of farming strats, hopefully. What do you guys' takes?
I mean, I actually like Wastestones from PoE too. Might be a hot take, but I think Wastestones will make the progression way smoother for new players, especially.
Yeah.
And I really like the idea of not having to pre-farm a bunch of maps to actually do certain strategies. Like, for example, you want to do Legion. Normally, you'd have to farm a bunch of Dunes maps or buy a bunch of Dunes maps. Now you can just go straight into Legion right away. Just use your T16 Waystones. And same with, destructive play. I mean, people like to do silo destructive play because you don't get 10 good maps, right? Now you can actually have, a list of 10 maps you want to run and just have, a 10-way, strat going on. So I think Waystones are really nice for the game. And I think it'll be good big change, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about that. Sorry.
Go on, you go.
I'm just thinking about this progression, right? I go from 0 to 115 map progression, and I get to 90, and then I have to start buying up 25 different maps, which I will never have to do again, and I'm just super happy. And also, the change I like the most is 8 mod maps. I can actually farm 8 mod maps, and I don't have to think about what layout am I going to farm for, who's going to buy what. Because I can just throw in an 8 mod tier 16 now and be done with it. It's going to be beautiful. So for juicing, beautiful.
Yeah, the maps being decoupled from the layouts is just a great change overall. I don't see any downsides to it. I think it's just an amazing change overall. What I saw from this patch is that it feels like they've been streamlining and improving on what PoE 1 already does in a great way, which is just have amazing player agency over the endgame and what maps you run, right? The whole idea of just being able to run the same map over and over again if you want to, but then, like they said in the trader there, you can just freely switch between maps and there's not really much effort there to do it, right? I mean, we're going to talk about Astrolabes in a little bit here, but that's got even more of that going on. Yeah, the keystone there, right? They introduced a keystone with that. This is going to be the most picked keystone on the Atlas tree. I don't know if you guys are going to disagree with that. Literally the most picked keystone. All it does, it has no downside from what I can see.
Actually,
okay, you can explain to me in a second. But so basically, I think it's how many maps is it? 8 maps or something like that. The Astrolabe covers something like that.
I think we saw 7 to 9 or so.
Yeah. Okay, it might be random.
Maybe.
So how it works is you do a map, and then that map gets removed from the blob, and then you do another map until you get to the end one. Then you get to actually loot like a vault thing. But if you take the keystone, you can run the same map over and over again, and it will remove another map in the blob other than the one you're running. So you can basically just always click the astrolabe on your favorite map. It will always include that map, and then you can just always run that map. So that's really cool.
There's two downsides that I've noticed. The first one is the one I'm pretty sure is going to happen, and I think they even talked about this really briefly, is if you cut off the blob in the middle, then you lose half of the blob. So you lose half of your juice. Yeah. So if it hits that map, which is random with the keystone, right? Then you're going to get way less juice, and you're going to have to restart again. And depending on how expensive these astrolabes are, that might be a big deal, right?
Yeah.
And the second thing, people told me this, that apparently after every run, you're going to hover over the maps. You can hover over the maps and see what they give on completion. And if that's true and it's random, then that might be a big deal depending on what's the difference between the worst reward and the best reward, right?
I actually thought I thought it was going to be that every map has the same rewards in the blob.
I don't think so.
That's
how but that's just what I heard.
Okay.
So I don't think that's confirmed. But the first one is definitely true, the one with the cutting off the blob.
Yeah,
now I think about it, like cutting off the blob might be a good thing in some cases, right? Because if you have less maps, you might get the reward at the end faster, and that might be a strat to farm as fast as possible to get the rewards, because it might be really good.
If you're rushing, if you're rushing for sure. Yeah. But how good are the rewards going to be?
Yeah, that depends on that, really. But I think the keystone will be really strat dependent. Like, if you're farming Legion, like I said, you're going to only want to be doing like dunes, right? So you just going to be doing dunes maps only. If you're doing like destructive play, I mean, the blob sounds really good to me if you're doing destructive play, because then you just have your maps picked out for you already type of thing, right?
I think
it's really strat dependent.
Just to be clear, I think the keystone is going to be great. I'm just pushing a little bit back on the notion that it's going to be a must include, because there is going to be strats where you just want to make the most out of that juice, but that also depends on how good the mods are. We just saw some random stuff and how random they are. Right?
We also don't know where the keystone is on the Atlas tree. I think it will be right at the top in the middle, because that's where it makes the most sense. But there was like 3 keystones or 2 keystones removed from the middle section, because those were the favorite map keystones. So there is some space there. I don't think it would be there because it doesn't really make much sense, but we don't really know where it is.
I think pathing is going to be super easy, though, because did you see what they replaced the small nodes with? It's now 2% increased maps found per small node.
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like maps ascent won't be a problem at all anymore.
Yeah.
Unless they they probably have to put the baseline down by like 70%.
That is what I thought too. Yeah, I thought the baseline map. It has to be. It has to be.
It has to be. Did you guys ever just farm a normal map in endgame and you drop any tier 16 shows, and it's like 7 maps and you haven't even invested into maps? If that now happens and you get the tier 16 you want, like you can target now, that would be way too overkill, right? So they're gonna turn that down by a lot, probably.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I mean, they'd have to, right? Otherwise, like, maps will be kind of worthless, like, value-wise, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They did confirm.
Makes sense as well, yeah.
They did confirm, by the way, that you cannot have 16.5, so Origin Influence and a full Mirage at the same time. So Mirage, which we're going to go over later, like the league mechanic, you're not going to be able to have a full Mirage map and a tier 16.5 at the same time. They're, like, mutually exclusive, so we're going to see what the juicing meta is going to bring, I guess.
I don't mind that too much. I think that's okay.
Probably okay.
Now, one of the other things
we
haven't... Okay, no, go on, Grother. You want to...
Well, I was going to say, if 16.5s have full Mirages, then you'd only really be doing 16.5s then, right? It'd be kind of like replacing T17s. But I actually like the fact that, like, there's reasons to farm, like, 16s versus, like, the 16.5s.
Yes. Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite things with this patch. And part of that is, obviously, them changing tier 17s into nightmare maps, which is a pretty big change. So nightmare maps now are tier 16s instead of being tier 17, which has implications for item level drops as well. But probably more so than that, it's just the fact that those maps are, as they said, better fulfilling how to actually access Ubers. You still got the challenge there, and I think part of I mean, obviously they're trying to push it towards that stepping stone between normal boss and Uber boss, and I do feel like nightmare maps probably should have been static. I don't know what you guys think about this, but I think in terms of it's like setting up a difficulty, if they're trying to make it so that the difficulty of nightmare maps is somewhere in between the pinnacle boss, normal pinnacle boss, and uber pinnacle boss, then really the only way to do that is for them to be static so that they can control the difficulty. It's just, it is really, when you think about a Nightmare map, or just how tier 17s were before, they are all over the place in terms of difficulty. You can walk into a tier 17 and it's not very difficult at all, or it can be the most difficult content in the game by far.
I completely agree. Like, you can't set up your bosses as being this difficulty, and then you unlock this, and then you unlock this when there's, like, map mods involved. Like, obviously, yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there should be, like, a keystone that makes them white, but you only get, like, one fragment or something, and you could have or maybe, like, the baseline, it should just be white, but then you have a keystone and you can make them rare, and then you can have a chance to get more fragments if you do that, because that would be, like, the baseline difficulty would be, like, the white static difficulty, and then you could have, like, an increase later. I think that would probably be a better way to do it. But I kind of agree with that.
What do you guys think about the...
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, yeah, I that's what I expected. When they were fixing tier 17s, I really did expect them to make them into unique maps, but they kind of went with the keeping the mods. But, yeah.
Maybe they will, right? Maybe they just wanted to take it so. Garafa, as a build maker, what do you think about the Awakened Gem rework?
Well, I was going to say, actually, like, the Quadrant thing... For SSF, like being able to target farm like exceptional gems and stuff like that, I think that's one of the coolest parts to me. Every quadrant having like this unique thing to go for.
Yep.
It makes me like really excited to like farm different things, like depending on what quadrant you're in. Like if you're in the originator, you get the memory strand stuff or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Versus if you're in the like Uber Elder, you get like the Shaper influence stuff or whatever, and like each reward being different. That's really cool as an SSF player. And also, like, with the exceptional gems, like, having each quadrant have, like, specific exceptional gems to farm, that's just amazing to me, honestly.
It might feel a little bit like divination cards farming used to feel in SSF, right? Like, I have a few SSF buddies who always reminisce about, like, before the ground loot changes, how you could actually target farm your stuff in SSF, right?
Yeah, like, Confessed Valley used to be able to farm, like, the Rislatha Coil card within, like, a couple days. Now it's, like... The cards are so rare that you could farm it for like weeks and not get a full set, which is
it's fucked
that
up.
kind of sucks.
The whole
I kind of wish they would rebirth the div card thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was kind of disappointed that they only went with currency, I will say, but maybe slow steps, like more currency, right? Like the 100% more currency. I feel like they could have done that to div cards as well, easily.
Yeah. I mean, the whole Atlas quadrant thing kind of makes me a little bit nostalgic for the old Atlas in a way. I think the old, when they first introduced the Atlas trees and they had like the different regions of Atlas trees, there was something very special about that. But the new system that they've done with the quadrants, they've actually kind of captured the best of both worlds in a way, because it's like you still have your core Atlas tree, which is affecting everything that you do, right, on all the quadrants. But then you have what Garatha was saying there, where you have this kind of like target farming thing going on, which was the part of what was so special about that old system. So I actually kind of really enjoyed that they've gone back to that style of Atlas with the quadrants. I like it.
With the quadrant stuff, I just wonder if they changed how you access, for example, Maven. If you still have to do the rotations and everything, if that's still exactly the same. Because you kind of just have to path there, and it's now a physical location, right? Kind of there. And I just wonder if they make it too easy, if it's going to make new players uninstall because they went to Maven first before the other bosses, and they're going to get absolutely clapped. That would be hilarious.
I was curious, like, what do you guys think the hardest, like, Voidstone is?
I think it's still Maven, but it's because I'm stupid. I'm dumb.
So? I was thinking, like, maybe new players would struggle more with Exarch, honestly. I feel like your Elder's like a gear check. Yeah, Exarch, I feel like if you have low damage, you do Exarch, you get to, like, low HP, you're gonna have to do the ball phase over and over again, right? If you're, like, a weak character, you get, like, one shot by a ball.
Fair. And you don't wait out the portal when you go back in? Maybe, yeah. Yeah, true.
Didn't they also say that the Shaper Elder one can now be obtained by just killing Shaper and Elder separately?
Yes. So
I've
easy.
heard that, yeah.
That is crazy.
So easy.
That is actually a crazy... I'm not sure... I wonder what the... Do you think it's because they wanted to kind of make each quadrant feel a little bit more balanced in terms of how you actually access the boss? Because when you think about it, Uber Elder was always the one outlier in that regard, that it took so much longer to actually get to that boss. Because you had to... I mean, especially if you're in SSF, it was completely ridiculous. But even
on trade.
Like, yeah,
so expensive.
Just getting to that boss.
So expensive.
I wonder if that's why they did that, and they but it is a big change. There is a huge difference between Shaper and Elder on their own and Uber Elder.
Yeah, especially like Shaper without Maven is actually really, really easy. If you don't plan on doing Feared right after, it's really, really easy.
Yeah, that's an interesting change actually. So I do like that they've added the Incarnations, by the way, as like an actual mechanic that makes sense. To, you get the Voidstone on the map. It kind of felt a bit weird before, it was kind of an outlier.
Overall, I think the stones are actually going to be harder to get now, just because you have to eat your Exarch for one stone, then you have to do all the Dread, Fear, Neglect for like another stone. You actually probably got to do more bosses now to get Void Stones.
Yeah, it might take longer in total, even with the change to Shaper and Elder. Yeah. But overall, I'm definitely a fan of the whole Quadrant thing. I'm
excited for it.
Yeah. Okay, so another big thing here, we got a new league mechanic coming in, the Mirage League, and this is a pretty interesting league mechanic in terms of juicing. It's kind of like an area which is an imperfect replication, I guess, of like a specific part of the map. It might include some league mechanics that are already existing there, like it could replicate an Essence, or it could replicate Ritual Altar or something like that. And it will have like special, unique interactions with each league mechanic as well. We saw there that in Ultimatum, for example, you'll have different modifiers that you can actually choose. So, what do you guys think about the Mirage League? How do you think it's going to perform, especially in the end game?
I mean, it just seems like a good mechanic to me, because you're just essentially buffing mechanics you already want to do. You don't have any like Breach, for example. How many people like quit Breach League because they kept running into walls and they were just super annoyed by it, right? Like this mechanic won't have anything like that. You'll just have like the mechanics you actually want to run, except they'll be better, and you'll have better juice snaps. And you have all these cool rewards to go for, like the coin thing. If you want to farm like a red support gem on your corruption thing, you farm the red coins. And every map, like you have the wishes, like you have like Soul Eater sometimes. It sounds like it's gonna be pretty what's the word for it? Like varied gameplay. You're gonna have like it's not gonna be the same gameplay. It's gonna be like every map will be kind of a little bit different because of the wish mechanic. So I'm pretty excited about it personally.
I think this league has everything going for it, because the leagues that come after bad leagues or less well-received leagues always have a freebie, right? It's like I don't remember what came after Bestiary, but it was probably a banger, right? For example, it's like it doesn't even matter. It just has to not have walls and not like hinder your gameplay, because a lot of people said that Breach was actually worse than Standard, right? So yeah, I think Mirage is going to be insane, especially for juicers. There's going to be so many bugged interactions. There's going to be mechanics that are supposed to work a certain way and they don't. I don't think they can make it perfectly so where every old league mechanic interacts with it the right way. There's going to be exploits where the Mirages spawn and you can cheese it in certain layouts, and we're going to be all farming cells or whatever, right? Like, I don't know. I think all of that could happen, right? All of that could happen. So I'm really excited.
I think one thing with Mirage that is really, really good in terms of the design of the league is that they're doubling down on their previous wins, right, in terms of leagues. So, like, if they've had really good leagues in the past that people love, they're basically just saying, okay, you can go and farm that twice as much, right, in your maps. Like, you can invest all in on that mechanic. In a way, also, it's kind of beneficial if you're farming several mechanics in a map, if you can, like, double dip on mechanics getting doubled and things like that. And, Mirage is just overall, it's for me, when I, like, look at the type of mechanic it doesn't feel like it's very risky on their part, right? It doesn't feel like because obviously with the last league they did, when they kind of overhauled Breach, that was a big risk. They took a big risk there doing that, because a lot of people did really like Breach as it was. So this one doesn't really feel very risky at all. It's you've always been able to, or at least since we had the Atlas tree and things like that, you've been able to play whatever you want in the end game. And this mechanic just says, here you go, play even more of what you want, right? So
exactly. It's like the first mechanic that's like a more multiplier for what you already wanted to do almost.
Yeah.
And it's obviously going to have its own like things where maybe you burn maps to get a certain modifier, right? Like, I don't know, convert portal scrolls to divines or whatever, if I remember that correctly and whatnot.
I think it was just random currency, but yeah, that's just pretty insane.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Divines.
There's like memes where people are running like 3 Parandus signets or something.
Yeah.
See if people actually do that.
I don't know, but I don't think it can be bad, really, because it's like the mechanics that are in the game are good, and this is a multiplier for those mechanics. So if you
Yeah.
use them correctly and figuring out how to use them, it's also so like there's so many things you can do with it. There's not going to be one way to play it. There's going to be like 10 different. So at least in my head, in my rose-tinted glasses, it sounds really, really good, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what I was saying earlier. It just feels like that type of mechanic just works in a game like Path of Exile because they already have such a good core. So they're basically just saying, yeah, just do more of that, right? We just have all of this good stuff already in our maps, so we can just have more of it. So that's it looks like a good mechanic. I'm looking forward to it.
What do you think about infused support gems, Garafa? What is your take on those?
Oh, the guarantee like support. Oh, I see what you're saying. So like, my first thought when I saw it was like, this kind of is way worse for spellcasters versus attack builds. I was thinking about like 21 support, like a 21 gem versus a level 20. It's a pretty big difference for spellcasters. But I mean, there's obviously like a lot of really good support you can get, especially you get like one per like a piece of like armor, right? So you get like your boots or whatever too.
Yeah.
But like,
Yep.
overall, yeah. I mean, it depends on like if you're playing like it depends on your build really, I guess. But most spells are gonna benefit from. I mean, almost every build is gonna be using it, I'm guessing. But
I'm
it's
just,
definitely. Go ahead.
I just really like what it does. Well, I don't like that it probably gives the mana multiplier. So for spells,
Yeah, I was thinking about that too for Archmage.
which is really fucked up, right? Like it's the mana multiplier is gonna be an issue. So I don't like that. But the other thing is, so it's super skewed towards attacks in that way. Not just the +1 level that you lose, but also the mana cost is going to be even worse for spellcasters. But I love it for everything but your main skill gem. It's like you have a frenzy set up in your build, and you can now have faster attacks to make it more comfy, right? You have a guard skill, put something on there to make it last longer. Like all of those small details really do add up. And it or the other way is gems that were already in your setup, you can now have as a level 1 if possible, and then just fit in more setups for people who like to press a lot of buttons, right? So it goes either way. It's good for people who just want it more comfy, and it's good for people who want to press more buttons. It's just, I love the system in general. I think
I think it's a massive power. I mean, especially like imagine like you're running like a Arcane Cloak or something, right? You can just put Arcane Surge on that from like your corruption or whatever.
Yeah,
it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna add so many extra gem links to your build than you can otherwise have before. It's definitely a big power boost. It's also a thing where it's gonna take a really long time to actually min-max your character with that, though, because like getting the exact gem you want on every single slot. Yeah.
Yeah, depending on how rare they are, right? Yeah.
Yeah, not just. I mean, how rare they are. Like, go on.
He said like you might get like 2 a day or something if you're playing a lot. That sounds kind of rare to me. We'll see how it actually plays out, though. I guess.
Well, yeah, we don't know. It was kind of like a random.
What does he mean by playing a lot? Right? That doesn't.
Yeah, like I guess it depends. 20 hours versus like 8 hours.
Yeah, you were just saying there about how rare they are, but it's also a case of like how many support gems can go on this one skill, right? Because some skills don't have many support gems that can actually support them. Some skills have a ton, right? So it's trying to get the right thing on there. But going back to what you were saying about spells versus attacks, there's also like I feel like just getting Fortify on there, right, is just insane on attacks. You just get Fortify. This is not really a gem you want to put in your links anyway. It's not a very good damage modifier. There you go. You just get Fortify. And
life tap on everything.
Yeah,
there's a lot of level 1 gems that are great.
Like
a lot
calling. Again, calling randomly on something would be really good.
Yeah, call. Yeah. There's going to be expensive ones. There's also going to be people who will brick their build and they will have to go to the vendor and buy a level 13 because their only 2020 will get Void Manib on it. That is going to happen.
Yeah.
Or Brutality.
Yeah.
It is going to happen, and it's going to be glorious. And it's not going to be me, obviously, but yeah. I think it's also a huge buff for all, by the way, for the Bloodline that lets you get crit immune, extra speed immune, or whatever if you have open sockets. Because you're going to be able to compress your sockets way more, right? So that's also pretty big.
That's true, yeah.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, even like Life Stacker with the amulet is in a similar thing there, where like before you would be really limiting the amount of skills you actually use, and now you're going to be able to get either to use less skill gems or actually get more strength on those skill gems by having an extra support. So,
true.
Yeah.
What about new uniques? Is there anything for you guys that stood out?
They only showed a couple off, right? I don't think they showed that many off. I mean, that was the only one that really stood out to me personally at the first glance. Like
Belt
a Frick
is
Spark,
belt's
for example.
insane. Yeah, the belt is absolutely insane. Like that is I think that item. I mean, I don't know if they realized how strong it was when they revealed it, but now that everyone is talking about it, I think the item's going to be very, very rare. Like, it might not have been that rare, but now it's going to be really rare.
I'm just wondering, we're gonna see like a patch note in a couple days, 50% less effective shrines on it randomly.
I think maybe they rebalance the shrines themselves, because shrines have been like strong for long, right? Like clicking on shrines has been kind of RNG. It really makes mapping into kind of a joke. So maybe they just readjust the numbers, and that way the shrine belt also kind of goes away, right? A little bit. But I don't know. The fact that there's acceleration shrine is stupid. Like, that's just insane.
Yeah.
Wait, it's 50% action speed and 80% projectile speed.
Yep.
It's like imagine playing Spark and you get all your prot speed from that
Yep.
one item. Like, what is this?
Action speed is ridiculous.
At that point,
It's
you
just
deal
ridiculous.
damage with even Spark. At the point where you have enough money for that belt, you deal damage with Spark. There you go.
I mean,
Compared
what-
to Tailwind, like what does Tailwind give? Like 8% action speed?
8%.
50% versus 8.
It's crazy, and it scales with Shrine Effect, right? You can get up to 125%
Yeah.
more action speed. Yep.
That is silly. One other unique that got showed there is that sword when you get upgraded from the poison one into the ignite one. I think that's pretty cool. It's like an early budget thing for Chieftain. Just running around a map with your own Hinekora, even though Hinekora ignite is going to be halved right this league because the damage is halved, but that
Still
was
consistent though.
it's still
I was
consistent.
thinking of
and
that sword.
yeah.
Isn't it kind of like Fulcrum, kind of? It's like a
Exactly,
very
yeah.
similar item,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It's very similar to Fulcrum. So, like, comparing to Fulcrum, you won't get the self-chill thing, because Fulcrum is all elemental ailment reflect, but you do get some dot multi. It does have 50% less ignites that you deal, and importantly, like, when you reflect ignites back to you, it's based on your modifiers to ignite, rather than modifiers for ignite on yourself. So that 50% less duration will apply to the ignite reflected back to you. But as you just said, the chance got doubled on Hinekora, so I don't think you're going to really have much of a problem continuously getting explosions in a map. So I think it's going to be a nice budget thing early on for Chieftain.
Is it the first time we get 2.8 meter prolif radius? I feel like it's the first time.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
I don't
It's
remember
big.
ever, because I don't remember for example, Benos, which also got reworked, right? We're getting 3 meter poison radius, and that sword is 2.8 meter ignite radius. I don't think people understand what radius, like, going from 1.5 to 3 meter, that is ×4 the area. I don't think people can even understand how broken that shit is with prolif, right?
That is huge, yeah.
So I guess we'll see, but
I think it is only for weapon ignites, though, if I remember correctly, on that sword.
okay.
So it won't work for Hinekora ignite, but I mean, yeah, 2.8 prolif is just ridiculous. Like that is so much. That's crazy.
Another unique item I did notice was the amulet, like the life flask amulet.
Yeah. I actually I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you specifically about your eviscerate build for that amulet.
Well, my first thought was like, I see why they nerfed concoction and like removed like the harvest life flask enchant.
Exactly.
Is the reason for that.
I literally saw that amulet and I thought, yeah, that's why the enchants are gone. But I was thinking like for an eviscerate build or something where you don't attack very often, isn't it like 80 dot multi with a perfectly rolled flask? I think it is.
Yeah, it should be pretty insane actually. I didn't really think about it until you mentioned it just now, but now I think about it, yeah, I think it'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Your amulet slot's not really that important either on an attack build, so.
Yeah.
And it's the unupgraded version, so it should be rather easy. Like, this is not a rare unique from the boss, let's be real. That's like probably a day 1, day 2 drop, right? Like, you're going to get this. And
yeah,
it gives 4 charges every 3 seconds, which is kind of wild, yeah.
And then the upgraded one
really
gives
good.
you like permanent mana flask, like not permanent, but you know, it's like an enduring like effect.
Yeah.
One thing I could think of with that is obviously other than just using it normally is the new unique flask that got added to the game 2 patches ago. I think it drops from Uber Dread now. It's called the Well Water Phylactery or something like that. I actually don't know what the name is. But it's
well, water phylactery.
It makes it so that your energy shield is not interrupted, I think, by damage. So
Huh. Hybrid flasks also count. Is there anything in there? Maybe the Wait, was the MF flask hybrid? I don't remember.
The
It is.
divination? Yeah, it is.
It is, yeah.
Oh shit. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
The quantity, I don't know. I've never seen anyone use that recently. I think people just use like normal gold plus nowadays. But I mean, yeah, maybe.
True. Yeah.
And then there's...
What about the...
Kind of gutted that flask. Holy, I just looking at it now. They gutted it so much.
I mean, they after Affliction, like that was it, right? All that they were like, this.
Oh, I used to have like max res and stuff too.
Yeah, they're like, you guys have gone too far now. That's it. Like, yeah. So one other unique that got changed is Beano's, which now has a 3-meter radius on it, so even more than the 2.8 on the other sword. I think that's up from 1.5. So that is kind of crazy.
And we got the unnerf of Viper Strike of the Mamba yesterday. So we're back to Viper Strike gamers, if you want to do that.
Yeah, right? I guess you don't have to play Pathfinder anymore either. You can play like Assassin or something now. Or maybe even Reliquarian.
The only problem is if you league started, right? Like, you couldn't really respec. If you're not Pathfinder, you can't respec into it until you get Beano's. Because then you can't fall back on... You can't play it without Prolif, right? It sucks.
Yeah.
It's kind of like...
I guess people just probably play this concoction. I mean, it's like a level 65 item, right? It's not that...
But then like, Beano's at tier 0. Like, when are you getting Beano's?
Yeah, it might be pretty expensive. It's probably like a second character if you're not playing Pathfinder. If you play Pathfinder, you probably eventually transition into it pretty smoothly.
I guess you can also just re-roll it into whatever. Like, it doesn't take that long, right? So just start with Pathfinder or whatever. I think it's really, really good now. I like it a lot. I think, well, I don't think you can play it on anything but Mamba, because if you just have one weapon, dual wielding is dead, right? Unless you have a skill like Mamba, it's basically dead because you alternate. It's terrible. So if you're not Mamba, there's no way you can deal damage with that. It doesn't even have a lot of attack speed, right? It's terrible. So I'm really hoping that it just can do... I mean, Mamba already had good clear, but this on Expedition with a 3-meter radius is crazy.
That's crazy, yeah.
Insane.
Well, I was also thinking about they buffed the Essentia Sanguis or whatever, right? As well.
Yep.
I was thinking like maybe you could play like a Dual Strike, Ambidexy, like CI character now. Before you wouldn't have a shield, right? But now it's like Giga ES on it.
Doesn't that have like 40% ES leech now in total? It gives you the keystone, which makes you go from 10 to 20. Then it doubles your ES leech, 20 to 40.
Yeah, and then they also changed the implicit to attack leech instead of fizz leech, and they also buffed the ES to 300 to 400, which is like
40 base leech for ES is insane. Like after you take the nodes on the tree, you're gonna have so much recovery. That is wild.
It also doubles your instant leech, right? Like the way it's worded, it's like Slayer, no?
Yeah, I think it should do. Yeah.
So it goes from 5 to 10 instant leech as well. Yeah.
I think it's actually gonna be insanely overpowered with like a dual strike CI build.
Yeah, but we don't talk about this because Garafa, the way this works is we don't talk about those here, so they don't go up in price. We talk about those in week 2, okay?
True.
After we got one, okay? But yeah.
And then we
I guess the Anoint belt we have left, which might be the new Stygian Vice that you get in mid-game, right? Pretty big deal. It's better. I would say it's... I mean... Crafting Abyss Jewels is just so ass. Like, it's so bad. So I'm really happy that we can just get that belt now.
Are you talking about the Anointed belt?
Cord belt, yeah. Cord belt base. It drops from Blight in Mirage.
I don't think Stygian belt can compare at all, honestly. Like, imagine your belt just has +1 curse on it, for example. Like, one of the... It's insane. Having additional Anoint is crazy. Or even just imagine, like, you just have, like, Inveterate anointed, and then you anoint another suppression node, so you just have, like, 30% suppression from your anoints alone. This adds so many, like, different, like, so much potential, honestly, for builds.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to touch on, actually. Being able to have 2 anoints, like, just normally, right, without having to use Blight uniques, is actually just crazy for a lot of builds. Like, left side builds, like you just said, trying to get suppression, now it's going to be much easier to get cap. There's builds that always kind of struggle for their anoint because they really want like several things, and now they can just have both of them. So that is
Also, I mean, you can also get 2% max res, right? Like 2% prismatic skin on every build. It's kind of crazy.
+1 curse, whatever. Yep.
That is a really strong item. Now, how rare is it going to be? So, I mean, we discussed this before Palstron, right? We said you think it's going to be quite common. I also think it's going to be common, but we do have like heist bases in the game. Is it possible that they want to make it like a chase item within Blight, so people have to actually farm that mechanic?
It's not a unique item, so it can't be a chase item in the belt slot. Let's be real. It's never a chase.
But
they know that.
The heist base is a chase. They're not crafted. You have to craft them yourself.
Do we know exactly how we get them?
They're not
Does it drop off a blight chest?
Oh,
how do we
exactly get dropped them? At the end. Like, we saw it from a loot explosion at the end.
So how it works is when the Mirage is next to the Blight, one of the lanes will be taken over by the Afarud, which is like the enemies in the Mirage, and then
that's what it was.
It's like a chest at the end. I think they didn't say anything about it being a guaranteed drop, but I guess it's just one of the things that can drop from there. Maybe other stuff from the League mechanic can drop too.
And have you guys ever farmed Blight? I remember farming Blight and SF for like an item. It took me like 100 like Uber Blights to get the item I wanted. So
yeah,
my experience with Blight drop rates hasn't been good in the past. Like some of the items were
Which item was in the chest?
I was trying to get a prismatic oil actually.
Oh really?
The like wait when that was the I was playing like an SF build. I was playing like a what was that amulet called? Like the one from Heist. I can't think of the name. But I was farming like the corrupted amulet oil, and it took me so long to get it.
Leadership's price.
Oh, yeah, leadership.
Yeah,
it took me so long to get that oil.
I have
ever since then I don't do Blight anymore.
Yeah, I farmed Blight in SSF. I farmed the chest. Like I got pretty lucky getting that actually, because that's really rare. I can't remember what it's called. The chest that gives you like the ground effect on the like fungal ground and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure what it's called. All the uniques are super rare. Oh, Swarguard, I think it's called.
Yeah,
all the uniques are super rare.
Like that, I wasn't actually farming for that, but it dropped, and I actually made an entire build around it that league. Like I was playing in SSF, and it was just it was good. But but Blight is I don't mind Blight, every now and again. I know that some people hate that mechanic. I wish that it had better performance. Would be the thing that I would say. I just hate how bad the performance is in Blight, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it also depends on how, it's like I said, it takes over like a lane or whatever. If it's not guaranteed, I think it might be a little rare. If it's guaranteed, then obviously it's going to be probably not that rare.
Yeah. We're going to have to see also how the Mirages, if they actually spawn well, and they always spawn. Like I think blocking nodes are going to be crazy this patch, because you can block the shitty mechanics that you don't want Mirages to spawn next to. Otherwise, if you don't block everything you don't want, it's going to spawn next to some random harvest that you didn't want, right? Like the Mirage. And
wait, it's an idea, actually.
Yeah. Yep.
Go ahead, sorry. Oh, yeah, I'll let you finish your thought. I was going to say, like, Blight, they mentioned it. Like, what if you have, like, a Blight that only has one lane? Like, like, you have an indoor map, and it blocks all the other lanes? If that gets taken over, you just get like 6 Blight chests that are Mirage chests, like a Toxicity type of situation.
Should have kept that farming strat to yourself, dude.
There's gonna be so many abuses. There's gonna be so many. I can already see it in whatever layout, like fucking cells. Hey guys, Palstron here. In cells at the left end of this exact layout, if you spawn the Mirage right here, you're going to drop 1 million Divines, right? Shit like that. There's going to be so many exploits. It's going to be crazy. But, yeah, we're going to see.
So, one thing that we didn't cover earlier, just while we're on the topic of Mirage, is Mirage maps, right? So, if the Mirage spawns near a boss, it can, like, take on the boss, I guess, and the boss gets extra mechanics. They actually said they likened it to an essence monster, so, like, having, extra, like, fireballs and things like that. And then they can actually drop a Mirage map, which is where the entire map is Mirage rather than just a section of it. What do you guys think of that?
Well, my first thought, because I just said that, is if you block everything in your map, is it always going to spawn next to the boss?
That's a good question. Can a Mirage
spam maps?
Yeah, that's a good question. Can it spawn like just and do nothing, right? Because obviously the Mirage in and of itself does have like extra content, as like the Afarud monsters, right? So, and that you have to actually go into the Mirage to free the Djinn in there, and you also get the bonuses coming in from Varashta. So the question is, if you don't have any mechanics, can it spawn away from nothing and just doesn't replicate anything, or does it always try to replicate something? In that case, you might be right. By blocking everything, it might only be able to replicate the boss.
Yeah, might be crazy.
Yeah.
If those maps are like a divine each, which I think they could be, depending on how they're going to be used and how rare they are, you might just have people burning maps to get that, right?
Yeah.
Also, with the Void Stones, we get a lot more flat rewards on boss kill now. So it's kind of like in Freesia, where you can stack the idols that give X% chance. Like boss rushing might be really interesting, and Maven and whatnot, right?
Yeah. I'm really excited for Destructive play, and now you mention it, because the chisels are going to be 1 use, gives you 20 quality now.
Yep.
And
they're going to be money.
That's where you get the influence stuff as well. So I think it's going to be really good.
Yep.
That's another thing about the endgame changes. Like, I love that they've just removed a bunch of needless clicks out of the game. I just love that. Like, there's so much stuff that's when I was just watching that endgame review, I was just like, man, these guys are just like they're iterating on the best system in the game over and over again, just making it better. Like they're just constantly removing needless clicks. It's just I love that. It's great.
Speaking of clicks, what do you guys think about Scarabs? I feel like aren't Scarabs gonna be way harder to get this league without T17s?
They're decent to farm, I think, in 16.5s, but I think that was their idea, right? Because Scarabs have just been popping, like all these strats where all you do is pick up Scarabs. Also, is it actually?
I hate that, honestly.
Because is it gonna be harder? Aren't you just gonna run Mirage maps now, and you're gonna double open all your strong boxes?
You don't get extra Scarab, right? Oh, I mean, maybe you're right. I feel like in general, there's gonna be less Scarabs.
Well, maybe you can get Nightmare Mirage maps. They only said you can't get Originator Mirage maps. So maybe
I would hate if that was the best way to farm Scarabs, because then people are just gonna be doing Nightmare maps all league for Scarabs.
Then we're back to tier 17. I mean, I don't know. We're back.
The problem is that modifier, like the more modifier and Scarabs on your maps, that's the problem.
It's too strong, yeah. You're right. If it's just normal Mirage map, then you can't, yeah. I guess they did remove Glacier because they knew what would happen with Mirage on the strong boxes in the first zone. Like, it would be a shit show. But maybe you have a small layout like City Square, which I think is still in the game. And you kind of like do research where the strong boxes usually spawn the most. And then you kind of just hope that the Mirage lands there, and you still get a ton of extra Scarabs and whatnot. And then you can run it on a normal map, right? Like an Originator, a 16.5. Also, what we haven't talked about is how Chaos Orb is probably going to be a lot cheaper, because we lost a lot of Chaos Orb outlets. So, for example, there's no more crafting, no more map craft. And also tier 17s were a huge Chaos sink in general, and those are gone. So maybe you're just gonna re-roll maps over and over and over, and you're gonna get like an easy 100 plus Scarabs for like way less than you used to. So we'll have to see.
One thing on that though about re-rolling maps and modifiers is that because a bunch of like kind of weird, I mean, people didn't like these modifiers, like the no damage in 3 seconds out of every 10. But some of them were complete freebies for a lot of builds, like throw less traps and totem damage redirection. I think it is generally going to be more difficult in those maps when you're rolling modifiers, because these very dangerous modifiers like minus max res and stuff is going to be more common because they didn't add more modifiers into the pool. It's just going to be coming up more often, right? So those maps are probably going to be. Well, they're going to be more difficult overall, I would say, just like if you're just talking about every build. But one thing that they did do there is they removed 2 of the most annoying modifiers in the game in the action speed modifiers, right? The Petrification Statue and the action speed removal per skill usage. So that personally, I think that's a fantastic change, because that was like really shoehorning a lot of the build creativity in the end game. So yeah,
they also removed Awakener's Desolation, and they also made it so the Drowning Orbs don't follow you around if there's no mobs on the screen. Both of those things are really nice.
While looting, you don't die. It's so nice. Cool.
Speaking of Awakener's Desolation, I had like a 500k max hit character in Hardcore one league, and I died to Awakener's Desolation. It's like the only thing that killed my character was like a dot.
Yeah.
And I got spooked by I was doing like meat sacks. I got spooked by a ghosted mob, and I ran away and flame dashed to Awakener's Desolation and died.
I mean, that's generally speaking, damage over time in the game some of it's just absolutely insane. Like I remember that really strong character that Quinn had. They died to a DC in Heist. He basically just walked he DC'd and walked straight into one of the like degen ground rooms that you usually just leap slam over him, like 2 leap slams and you're through the room, right? But he DC'd right as he was walking in, and then his character was gone. That's it. So it's just
degen's pretty hard to mitigate actually. Like
Yeah.
what is like this max res and like some really niche things.
Yeah.
Regen, I guess, is a pretty good natural mitigator for that. Slayer's really good against dots, especially.
Yeah. Right. So one other thing we got coming in this patch is a new set of like skill type, holy skills, and they've got some buffed holy skills as well as part of that. Things like Holy Flame Tome getting buff. I think there's a few other skills there getting changed. Do you guys see any skills in that list of new skills that are taking your fancy? What do you guys think of that?
I remember Andrew saying in the interview with the Holy Strike, right, which I think is the level 1 skill that we're getting. Is that the level 1 skill?
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
That's the one that is that the one that creates the minions?
The hammer
The
thingies,
hammer minions. Yeah.
He said in the interview that one of the testers said they should nerf that damage by like 75% or something. It's way too broken. So that's pretty funny.
I wonder if they walk the hill and just one shot it or something.
I don't understand, because like level 1 skills always suck. So I don't believe it until I see it. Maybe like scales into crazy territory. I have no idea, but I'm kind of like dumbfounded. But if there's another build that you can play and pick up at level 2 and level all the way to 100, that would be the best newbie beginner's guide of all time. That would be nice.
It sounds like it's like a strike minion build type of thing. It's like I can kind of see it. Minion builds are actually looking really strong in this league. I'm not like a minion player or anything, but like Herald of Purity looks like it'll be insane combined with some of the new stuff, like new holy skills, especially.
Yeah, the Val Domination got buffed, right?
Yeah, but also they added that debuff thing. I don't know what it's called exactly. Like the fire fizz is lightning thingy.
Yeah,
I think that'll make those builds way stronger.
Something? No, that was not it. I remember the fire one, right?
Yeah, the Guardian has access to it on one of their new nodes.
Let me check real
That's
quick.
really well when you have minions.
Yeah.
It is called Hallowing Flame. That was it.
That's right.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, that looks pretty strong.
I think
Obviously,
really
you
good.
like apply it, or your minions can apply it, and then you can benefit from it, or you can apply it, and then your minions can benefit from it.
Yeah.
Right? And they gain, I think it's 25% Fizzes extra, and the Guardian has on that particular node that has that thing as part of it. The Guardian gains 10% Fizzes extra per instance of the thing you've applied that's been like absorbed or whatever, or used by allies, right? So
yeah. So I'm thinking like you play like a hybrid Holy Strike Herald of Purity build, and you just have like crazy damage popping out from that.
Yep.
It should be really good. I'm not gonna play it myself, but I think it'll be like insane damage at least.
Yeah, that looks really interesting. What about I quite like the look of Holy Hammer, and I'm gonna have a video coming out soon on this, because I've been looking into Holy Hammer in terms of the area of effect scaling, right? Because this skill is, you can tell, like, just based on the damage numbers, that this skill has been designed with, like, overlaps in mind in terms of single target, right? So it's all about getting as many overlaps as you can on single target. So scaling area effect is pretty interesting, but it doesn't have a very big base radius. The base radius is 1.8 meters, so not very large base radius, but that's pretty interesting.
It's a Warcry, right? So you get Seismic Cry.
Yeah, you do.
So you get 50 some more AoE from the Exert. We saw some live stream footage of it. It was like hitting the entire screen. It looked really insane. I think it'll be a really good clear speed skill. I think it'll probably be lower single target than Earthshatter, probably though. Even
I actually
after
did the
nerfs.
math on the single. I did the math on the single target, and if only like the first one hits with the hammer itself, it's actually 568% damage effectiveness with like the attack speed subtracted and everything. So it's actually not
That's
terrible.
pretty crazy.
That's like 20% less damage than like Smite, which is very high damage. Smite with overlap, right? So that's actually pretty high up there. I don't know how it compares to Sunder, but I think it's pretty competitive. It does.
It sounds like it'd be better than Sunder.
It does convert though, which might be a downside for a lot of these builds. Actually, like you actually have to get pen. I don't know if it's.
I think actually, the biggest downside I think is you're forced into using a mace and scepter, I think, or staff, right? You can't use an axe.
Mace, scepter, or staff. True.
Yeah, axes are like the best slam base because they have way higher base damage.
Staff gets a little bit of block and fortify from the clusters, right? So it's not that bad, I guess.
Staff can be pretty good, but it's a little harder to get going, I think, compared to
Yeah.
Axes, because Axes get like onslaught and kill and stuff, and all these OP nodes on the tree, like rage on hit and stuff.
Yeah. True.
But yeah, I think it looks really strong.
Yeah.
It'll be, you maybe go crit with it too, like crit, like Staff could be interesting with that. We haven't really seen too many crit slam builds, so I think this would be a pretty good option for
It's
that.
also
Though.
lightning convert, which is nice. Yeah, some shock.
Maybe get like all ailments to get like brittle and stuff going or whatever. Maybe just scorch brittle.
There's also the new
You need a
sweep.
power
That's
charge.
it.
Oh, it actually does make. Sorry, actually does make sense with staff because it expends a power charge, right? So that's kind of cool, I guess.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good with that heist staff, the one that gives you +1 max power. Definitely do something there. Maybe even with Jug as well, because Jug gets the AoE scaling from endurance charges.
And you get free endurance charges on hit, right? On crit from the tree.
Yeah.
I think this could fit.
I think that'd be really good for sure. I mean, you're playing. I guess it's like it might say like volcanic fissure almost. So like the clear seems really good on it.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that's most enticing about that skill is just like the way it cascades. Even if you have like a moderate amount of AoE investment, it's still going to be insanely fun for mapping. Like for mapping, you're just going
You don't have to aim like with Sunder. Yeah.
Yeah.
You kinda have to aim, right? But
Yeah.
not really.
One thing I did notice though when I was looking at the AoE things is that you might have a bit of a like shield cross situation going on when you're doing single target where you don't want to stand and aim directly at the target you're hitting. You want to do it kind of off to the side slightly so that you get like overlapping area for the most damage, which is very odd. I have to say, like the Shield Crush gameplay, I don't know if it's still like that, by the way, because I haven't played Shield Crush in a long time now. But that when I have played that in the past, it's really awkward actually. Like trying to get the most single target damage.
It's how volcanic fissure worked too. You had to like stand like in between the mob and like aim your cursor behind the mob,
like right behind them.
The triple hit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like that they're adding new skills to the game again. Like, I think after they done the Transfigured Gems thing, like it looked like they might just do Transfigured Gems and that would be it. But they're kind of adding new gems, like new types of gems, and they're also iterating on old ones. We had some buffs there. I think some of the buffs are maybe not quite enough, like the one to Holy Flame Tome. They added projectiles, but I think they didn't buff its damage, so it's still not really there. The Transfigured
shotgun.
Yeah, it doesn't shotgun exactly. Yeah, the Transfigured Holy Flame Tome does a bit more damage. I think it already did more damage, but yeah, I think the idea is good. Like even if the buff it isn't enough, the idea is good. At least they're actually, making new skills and upgrading old ones. They done the sweep change as well, right? Sweep was barely used, so they reworked that into a new skill. That one's got some interesting like worm blaster stuff going on that you could do. Yeah.
I gotta be honest, I feel like that was the one that looked the weakest to me. It was the sleep thing. I was like watching the gameplay, like this looks kind of slow still, doesn't it? Watching him sleep and like stand there for like 2 seconds.
It looks really.
The Divine Blast actually looks pretty interesting to me. Like the shield build, I feel like that'll be a good like second, third character type of thing.
Yeah,
I did the math on it, and it wasn't that crazy. It was like. What was it, like 20-30% less damage than Shield Crush if it overlaps, and then you get a little bit of crit, I guess. But it's definitely better for clear. Like Shield Crush kind of feels like ass. So.
What did you see the footage? The guy was going Void Battery, Crown of Eyes, Badge of Brotherhood, and it's 10 power charges, 10 friendly charges, and he had like the AoE from Forbidden Power on Occultus, and also like the Vast Power medium clusters. So he just had like insane AoE.
Yeah,
I think that type of setup would be ridiculous for Divine Blast. It'd definitely be more like a second, third character.
Power charges otherwise, right? Like not on the skill itself, so kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, so you get like 17 base crit from just having like Emperor's Vigilance and Seething Fury. So you cap your crit so easily.
I guess
that's like the one cool thing about it. That's why I think it's like a second character, because I think you do want Emperor's Vigilance to play that ability.
One really weird thing about that skill, though, is it doesn't have a melee or projectile tag. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
I did notice that. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, actually.
It's really hard to scale.
It has like its attack AoE.
Yeah, it is really hard to scale that. Like, I was just...
multi on left side, I guess.
Yeah.
That's why the Crown of Ice thing is pretty cool, because you get like a bunch of spell damage and you convert it into attack damage.
Yeah.
True. So I guess to round up everything, what are you guys starting on League Start, Goratha?
I am definitely playing Shock Nova Procession. It looks so sick in the live stream footage. Shock Nova's always been a skill I like want to play, but then I play it and it's like it feels kind of weird to clear with. But with the live stream, it seemed like the new skill is gonna be way better clear, and it should be pretty fun, honestly. I haven't played a mana build in a while either, and I think I'll play like Archmage. And they also showed off Frost Mage. I might go like a Frost Mage Guardian at some point, so it sounds kind of cool to me.
That skill looks really awesome. Like the animation looks great. Like I think
Yeah, it looks
we have
sick.
it on the
yeah.
We have it on the second monitor right now because it literally just the new gems came out. We can't fully discuss it here, but this is like it looks pretty interesting. It has 0.25 cost time. So
Yeah, I wonder how that's gonna work with mana. That's repeat 2 times, which is built in Stalker, looks like.
yeah, it repeats 2 times, but I think your mana is going to be very nice then, right? 10%.
Yeah, that makes mana better because it's only 1 cost, right?
Yeah, it's
Because
amazing.
it repeats free. It sounds really
Yeah.
good, actually.
Sounds strong.
The damage effectiveness looks low, but I think it'll overlap really well, probably. Based on the footage, it seems like it's gonna have multiple overlaps.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think all of them are going to overlap, basically, from what we've seen in the... It's like almost overlapping already. Like, it's a little bit further than the frame. I wonder how it scales with Spell Echo. I guess Spell Echo is probably not going to be that good on it, right? Because it already has the repeats.
I mean, probably Slate Stalker, probably, right? Because it's 1 cost still for like Archmage.
Maybe.
Anything that makes the cost less, because cost is pretty annoying on those type of builds.
I guess.
If you have like 5 repeats and you only have to cast 1 time for that 5 repeat, it'll be really good for your mana.
Yeah. So you're going for the reverse Archmage, the new one, the cold one?
I was thinking of it because, I mean, you lose like Arcane Cloak and you Sigil Power and like Arcane Surge because you're going to be reserving all your mana. I'm probably going like EB. I guess there's a way you could go like Ivory Tower, go like Low Life or something, but I'll probably end up going EB. The main benefit though is Frost Mage has, I think it's like 25% level 4 versus Archmage is 16%. So you get like a massive amount, like more damage, like flat damage. But you get to run auras, so you get to run like Haste, Zealotry, like Flush and Stone, whatever you want to run basically, right? So you get to use like more Watcher Eye mods, just better scaling stuff. I wonder how it's gonna play out. It'll be pretty close probably, comparing it to like Arcane Cloak and like losing Arcane Surge stuff is pretty annoying, honestly. So we'll see. But Guardian's pretty interesting because you get a bunch of flat ES and armor from Radiant Faith. So you'll be super tanky. You also get like a lot of blocks. It's pretty interesting. It'll be definitely a different way to play it.
Flat ES is going to be big also because we don't have Breach anymore, so you don't get free base types everywhere, right? So it's like...
Yeah.
Until you get gear, pretty good. Pretty good.
They also buff Pledge of Hands. I'm not sure if I'll use Pledge of Hands or not, but it's going from like 50% mana to 100% mana, which is kind of crazy. But they are like greater Stalkers getting changed from level 30 to level 1 or something like that. I wonder how that's going to play out. I might try it out. It's like a pretty cheap early game option there, I guess.
All right. How about you, Dreamcore? What are you starting?
So I'm undecided right now, but I think it's either going to be Holy Hammers, probably Jug, or maybe the Reliquarian. The Reliquarian looks really good for that bleed build I was talking about earlier. Like I just think that would be a really nice league starter, just generally speaking. Just like Bone Shatter, especially on a league start, like Bone Shatter bleed. Bone Shatter Complex Trauma, that is just yeah, you just have the damage, and yeah, I mean, I hope they tease what the level 30 Thirst of Blood actually does before the league starts, but I'm pretty sure it's just going to be if we're going by the aspect skills, right, that got like a higher level version, which would like barely any different. I think it would just be like that. It's going to be, it might be just a very minimal change overall, so it's probably going to be the same skill, slightly stronger.
We saw that build like kill a lot of bosses in Gauntlet actually, like Bone Shatter Bleed. So I think it'd be a really strong league starter. And
defensively, like I mean that's what I'm looking for on that Ascendancy. I think it just looks really nice. The Brass Dome node is just great. Pair that with like a well crafted Royal Plate with like PDR and stuff. Get some max res implicit on there. Going to be able to get up to 90 max res. Yeah,
region builds are always like super comfy too. The more you talk about Jack the Axe on the Ascendancy, the more I kind of want to try it out too.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about this earlier as well because you said Brass Dome and Crit Immune, right? You get from Brass Dome. Because you said that a lot of mods are now gone and a lot of the other mods will there's gonna be a lot more crit on maps as well. So that's actually a good point, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. And
huge.
It's just that's just such a nice mod as well. Like when you have crit immune, you really do notice it.
The spikes are just gone because you don't actually notice until you get crit immunity that even in non-crit maps you do sometimes get, and you see it, right? And it's like it's like that. Wait a second, what was that? And it's like, no, it was nothing. It was just a crit, right, with some random mob. So yeah, it's amazing. I'm gonna be league starting totems, kinetic fusillade, ballista, which is gonna be very meta. It's very, very strong. It's gonna get nerfed next patch. Sorry, what?
I feel like they forgot to nerf Connect Fusillade.
It's gonna get nerfed next league, but it's gonna be really, really sweet. It's just so easy to do 4-stone, and after that I'm gonna see what I can do. But I'm really stoked, not even just about Fusillade, but about the global totem change they did to placement speed. That is,
I saw that.
Oh my god,
looks insane. I might try a totem build out for like the first time in like 5 years because of that.
It might be an endgame. It might actually, totems might actually be an endgame archetype now, which some people would say that it already was, but I don't subscribe to it. For me, it's like a league start only, because like 600, I think local identity said 633 milliseconds is the emerge time. That's your delay. You could never like adjust. And now with hero and placement speed, you can get it down to like 0.2 seconds. And it's like, like snappy, right?
That's pretty absurd. It's like a normal build now.
Yeah,
it might be.
That makes me want to. That makes me want to play my build from last league again. Like I might just roll it again this league and play it again because it's going to just feel even better with that emerge time. Yeah.
Also, spell totems won the most because spell totems were always like scuffed. They have a base placement time of 0.6, and ballistas used to have 0.35 for some reason. So ballistas got adjusted to go to 0.5 so that emerge time is not too big of a deal. It's still a big deal, but for spell totems, they straight just got buffed like crazy. It's like insane.
I think Stormburst will be really good this league probably then.
Yeah, Stormburst is
especially
gonna
with
be
the change.
fantastic. Yep, fantastic.
Yeah. If Kinetic Fusillade got nerfed in these patch notes, I think people would be playing that skill. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Maybe I would play it, in fact. But you would have to. You could talk about endgame, whatever you want, but for a 4-stone, for Kinetic Fusillade to not be, for me to not play it, you would literally have to half its damage or something.
Yeah, it actually is that strong. Yeah.
But it is very strong.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not gonna make predictions about endgame because in endgame, right, like having to get reduced duration is a little bit weird. But 4-stone, it's gonna be one of the builds. And
that's my main issue with the build actually is having running like warp time feast and like all those like reduced duration.
But you don't on totems, right? That's the point because you have the 50% less attack speed. You actually don't.
Right. I mean that makes it way more enticing to me because the reason I didn't want to play it last league as self-cast is because half your slots were you kind of have to use these like garbage unique items.
Well, that's the big point, right? Because if you're a strength stacker, you want to be once because you don't need to use Crown of Ice, right? Because you already get so if you don't use Crown of Ice, you can use a Maven belt, a Maven helmet with crit per strength, accuracy per strength, and minus Chaos Res instead, which is insane. Like it just caps your crit straight up. So your wand skill, your strength stacking, and then on top of that, you don't have to waste your jewelry, like you said, because you can't run a strength stacker and waste both your rings. It's impossible. Like it's insane, right? So I actually, with the placement changes and all of that considered, I think there might be a strength stack end game setup on totems. I didn't think I would ever say this, but it might be possible. It does a shit ton of damage. It does like over 100 mil on like 70, 80 divs with Astra Mentis and whatnot. But as you know, strength stacker is like not the tankiest, so we'll have to see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Either
way though.
So does
I think we got.
Yeah. Do we have anything else you guys want to say about the patch? Anything we missed?
I think it's gonna be hype.
Yeah,
I'm hyped.
Yeah, I'm excited to log in. I mean, this patch for me, just seeing the reveal, it feels, as I said, it feels more like PoE of old. I didn't really have that feeling for 327. I did a little bit for 326, I think, because we had that massive delay. But yeah, this patch just looks. You could see the passion from the devs in that Q&A with Ziggy D. You know,
yes.
They really do believe in PoE 1, and I think they're right to, because the game is still great. So yeah,
it's here to stay. Yep.
All right. Well, yeah, Gratha, thanks for coming on this first episode of the PoE Report. It's been nice to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and shout yourself out if you're making content coming up for this league, or what are you doing before the league start, or where can people find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/Gratha. I'm also on YouTube, same name, Gratha. I'm probably gonna be league starting Shocktober. I'll probably make a bunch of videos on it. I usually update my guides. I have a couple of, like, pre-league videos. All my builds kind of stay the same, honestly. I have like a Gladiator Viscerate build. I have like a Rolling Magma Stabber build. My builds haven't really changed at all. I've been just posting videos, like small updates, but not much has changed. So it's, yeah, pretty much all I'm gonna be doing for the league is making those videos.
Are you gonna make a Maxwell guide as well?
I already have actual guides actually on both those characters.
It's up already. Okay. There you go. Easy.
All right, and Pal, where can people find you?
Twitch.tv/Palstron and Palstron on YouTube. I'm gonna be playing, like I said, Kinetic Fuse a lot, Totems for at least the first 5-6 days, and then we're gonna see what happens. I might go Strength Stack version if I love the build, but if I see anything else, I'm very jumpy. Some weird unique, something that enables another cast, like my 10th custom crit build, right? Like anything, I'll take anything. So, but I will be making at least 3 to 4 updates, and it's gonna be super cozy. So, yeah, there you go.
Awesome, and you can find me at Dreamcore on YouTube. And yeah, thanks for watching the first episode of the PoE Report, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye bye.